Hey there, YouTube. As some of you may know, I like to do things like rant and vent. I haven't done that in a while. Usually it's about labor, but this time it's about a situation within an educational setting. Something I am very passionate about is education. I would have rather have done this as a video, but my phone sucks, so you get to hear my voice. Unless you choose to skip this video, totally fine, that's your prerogative. For those of you who choose to stay, I hope that you maybe can share your experience or the experience of someone you know who has been in a similar situation, because this was complete bullshit and it made me very angry, and basically I am so fucking tired of working with older white women in early childhood education. I didn't always work with older white women in early childhood education. I worked with this wonderful teacher who is a woman of color, and I never had problems. Now I work at a preschool as an assistant due to health issues. So I kind of need to be careful so that I don't get fired, because any money. Anyway, the situation was that, well, let me paint a picture for you. In the classroom that I work in, there are two people of color. One of them is me. Another is a child who is 3 years old. Two of the teachers that I worked with today are older white women who have been in the profession for 20 plus years. So you would think that they know how to do their job and know how to basically act right and treat children with respect and treat them like whole human beings. It seems to have been not the case for this poor child, because for some reason these teachers like to single this child out. Now, before you go and complain in the comments, this is not your experience, okay? You weren't there. I was there. So you need to sit down. Alright. So, we got the characters. We got the setting. The problem is that, well, the problem to these teachers was that the child was not saying the right thing that they're supposed to say for the transition period between play and cleanup time. This child was a helper today, and they kept asking this child to say, stop and listen, 5 more minutes to play. So that's like the 5-minute warning that they get before cleanup time. And instead, the child kept saying, stop and listen, cleanup time. So they just weren't getting it right. Mind you, the child is 3 years old. These teachers are adults. So instead of understanding that children make mistakes and that it's not on purpose, they get upset and then pick an entirely different child to do the job that was given to the original child. And by close to the end of the day, I was so tired of them getting upset and raising their voice at this child for not listening to them. Because yeah, if the child is saying the wrong thing, that must mean that they are not listening and that they're doing it on purpose because, I don't know, logic. So they had picked a different child who was not a helper of the day to say, stop and listen, 5 more minutes to play, instead of the child who I'm talking about. But I kind of interjected and, just was speaking with them quietly and saying, okay, it's time to call 5 minutes, and just repeated the phrase to them. Stop and listen, 5 more minutes to play, hoping that they would get it. And they get to the light switch to, turn off the lights so that everyone has their attention to what the child is going to say. And the child froze because these teachers are staring, just waiting for this child to say the wrong thing. Now, I don't know if this makes sense. Call me ridiculous. But if you're like 3 years old, you don't really have the language to describe, oh my god, I'm like nervous here because these teachers are giving me a look. And I am nervous to open my mouth because it seems like every time I do, they raise their voices at me. And that's scary. What else is there to say? And I guess these teachers were not really happy with me, but why cause a scene? And I am an adult too. So what are they gonna do? Like, okay, I'm sort of undermining your authority, but you are being a complete jackass to this child. A child! You're an adult. You do not need to be acting this way. And to this child, they're always getting singled out. I swear. This child is always getting singled out. And happens to be brown. If you are brown, black, some identity where you might identify as a person of color, like Southeast Asian, East Asian, but usually black and brown students, you probably can recall when you were a child and everyone around you was white, like maybe 1 or 2, 3, 4 if you're lucky. Other peers are the same or similar color as you. And your classmates, most of them being white. Your teacher, white. Administration, white. I mean, how can you not notice that there are so few people who look like you? Now, there's data out there that confirms what I'm saying, but I guess that doesn't matter to people who feel like they are being attacked. Now, per Zippia.com, Zippia estimates preschool teacher demographics and statistics in the United States by using a database of 30 million profiles. Their preschool teacher estimates are verified against Bureau of Labor Statistics, census, and current job openings data for accuracy. Zippia's data science team found the following key facts about preschool teachers after extensive research and analysis. 93.6% of all preschool teachers are women, while 6.4% are men. Just thought I'd add that part in. And the most common ethnicity of preschool teachers is white, sitting at 62.8%. Now, this data doesn't necessarily specify the race or the percentage of preschool teachers who are white women specifically. But I think you can add 2 plus 2. And it is very frustrating that this specific data is not available, or you have to read extensive academic articles that use academic elitist language that makes it inaccessible for the common person to see what is out there, to see what is plainly there. I'm tired. Again, so tired of working with older white women in early childhood education as a brown person. Because as it is, me being an assistant, they're never going to see me as an equal, despite having been a teacher before, albeit not for a long time. But they're never really going to see me as an equal. They just have to respect me, I guess, to keep their jobs. But I'm venting here because I can't really say shit. The director is not going to listen to me. And I'll probably get a lot of blowback because I'm one of 4 people who works in that classroom consistently. And it's gonna be obvious who said something. Because the third teacher is not gonna say anything really. And I don't blame her. She's actually really awesome. I am also venting because, I'm tired of the format in which this topic is talked about. Which is things like, TED Talks, where it's so polite and, that just doesn't really have an effect. And initiatives like DEI, if you don't know what that is by now, that's diversity, equity, and inclusion. Having little workshops about implicit bias and things like that, and people being required to do them, and then not applying any fucking thing that was covered. And also on people for thinking that one workshop once a year, or however frequently it's done, thinking that that's gonna do anything to solve the issues at hand. Some people are just not going to get it. Older white women who are in teaching professions, and this is just one of many iterations of different identities out there that are not going to get it because they don't think that they are discriminating or being prejudiced against children of color. To keep with my example. They're not going to get it. And they're just going to swear up and down like, well, no, I love all the children. I'm not racist. I don't discriminate. I'm not prejudiced. I love everyone equally. All lives matter. Blah, blah, blah. They're going to swear up and down. But they're not really going to get it. Because their children probably weren't victims of this. It is sick. It is awful. And it should not be happening. I am warranted in my anger. Because people don't get angry enough. It is seen as something that is unacceptable to be about a situation that is disgusting. That if these parents saw the way their child was being treated, they would be horrified. I'm tired of this topic being talked about in academic circles. I'm tired about hearing about the Jane Elliott study, which is, for those who don't know, brown eyes, blue eyes, which is how children with brown eyes and children with blue eyes were separated just to kind of, do an experiment that is supposed to be anti-racist. Go ahead and look it up. Anyway, it's been an experiment that has been called unethical because children were basically pitted against each other. I mean, I would have to agree. I mean, you don't have to, but, And I'm not saying that, things like DEI and, academic articles and data that's out there, that those things don't matter and that they should be scrapped. I think that we can just be doing better. We should be doing better. And I would say, at least in my situation, that there should be protections for me. I shouldn't have to fear being fired for speaking the truth. Stop fucking picking on this child. Stop favoring children who share the same color skin you do. It fucking pisses me off. And the whole bus ride home, I'm just fucking crying underneath my sunglasses and my mask. Because it's so heartbreaking. I don't want this child to keep being treated this way. And I hate that there's little to nothing that I can do. As someone who's also an educator. As someone who is also brown. And this should make you angry too. And if you're a parent out there or some form of caregiver, grandparent, guardian, foster parent, whoever, grandma, grandpa, listen to me. Listen to this. Listen to your kids. Be careful. Educators do have a hard job, but that is no excuse to treat children this way. Please be careful. Not everything is as it seems. Not all centers are these wonderful places that they claim to be. Sometimes they're run as businesses, and it's absolutely awful to have that kind of model. You just, I don't know, it's really hard to tell if your child is being yelled at when you are not present. How these teachers will talk so nicely when you're there and raise their voices at your children when you're not. Now, I was all over the place, but hey, this is a vent, and it really sucks that this can't be a conversation, but we can start one in the comments. Again, if you are going to be like trolling or sending me threats or insulting me or whatever negative thing you choose to do, instant ban, comments will be deleted. I am protecting myself. I'm not censoring your speech. maybe you should reflect and really think about what you're saying before you say it. Because not everyone is going to accept the way that you treat other people just because you don't agree. Just because it's not your experience. I'm not here to be attacked, and I'm not going to let myself be attacked by you. If you can relate to this experience in any way, please share if you can, if you feel safe doing that, if your heart feels like it needs to share this. Please do so. That's all I have to say. This was a longer vent than I had planned. And I'm doing it in one take, basically. So, yeah, again, not a deep dive, not a video essay, or I guess audio essay, whatever. It's just me expressing that I'm so fucking tired. And I hope you are too. Peace.